Hi beautiful soul, this is Hanneke from Tin Soul Alchemy. Welcome to this channel on blossoming on the twin flame journey. In this video, I will go into the significance of the Pisces full moon lunar eclipse that is taking place on September 17th or 18th. Depending on where you live, the eclipse can occur on different times. So make sure to adjust for your local time zone. What makes this particular lunar eclipse stand out is that it is the first eclipse in Pisces since 2016. So you can think about what was happening for you then. And this alone is significant, but it is also a super moon, which means that the moon is closer to Earth than usual, and this amplifies its effects on us even more emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So this is going to be a very powerful full moon. Eclipses are powerful markers of change and transformation. They symbolize the end of cycles and the beginning of new ones on a collective level, but also in our personal lives. And they have the ability to reveal truths that were previously hidden, and they can trigger shifts that redirect our paths, pushing us closer to us, our soul's purpose. As usual, I will be going into the astrological significance of the full moon and the full moon lunar eclipse and how it impacts us on a personal level, and especially in the context of the twin flame connection. I'll first give you a little bit of a general background on what is happening astrologically, and then I'll move into the twin flame connection. But I can give you a sneak preview right from the beginning, because this lunar eclipse, of which the effects can be felt months in advance and months afterwards, is helping us close a significant karmic cycle. And what I'm picking up is that it has to do with the divine masculine liberating himself, asking for a space to free himself from control. And for the feminine, this means an invitation to hold space, to remain rooted in her own strength, open-hearted, and to allow him to let this unfold on his terms, which can be very challenging for the feminine energy. But I'll go into that a little bit more later in this video. First, I'll give you the general overview of what is happening. So Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, and this represents the completion of cycles. It rules over emotional release, spiritual awakening, and heightened intuition. It's a sign that encourages us to let go of what no longer serves us, to surrender to the flow of life, and to trust in the unseen forces guiding us. And the energy of Pisces is deeply spiritual, asking us to transcend the material and to tune into our higher selves. This eclipse is a time of karmic completions and transitions, and being in Pisces, it is especially focused on the spiritual and emotional endings. And with the sun in Virgo, directly opposite this full moon, there's a need to balance the mystical, intuitive energy of Pisces with the practical, grounded energy of Virgo. And Virgo asks us to stay focused on reality, while Pisces urges us to surrender to the unknown. Talking about a tension field. And then there is Neptune, which is the ruling planet of Pisces, and it is in conjunction with the full moon, sitting at 28 degrees of Pisces. And Neptune brings a dissolving quality to the energy of this eclipse. It dissolves illusions and it reveals what's true at a deeper spiritual level. And it invites us to clear away the fog of confusion, of delusion, or fantasy, and it helps us see things from a higher perspective. And Neptune's energy can also blur boundaries, making it difficult to distinguish between reality and dreams, between what's real and what's imagined. And isn't that what the twin flame journey is challenging us right from the beginning? Is this real or not, what we're experiencing? With this conjunction, our emotional sensitivity and psychic awareness is heightened. You may have a lot of dreams or intuitive insights or spiritual revelations, and it is a time to pay attention to your inner voice. What is it telling you? Neptune opens up the channels to your subconscious, and this allows you access to deeper truths that you might have ignored before or suppressed. And Saturn in Pisces, which is also conjunct the moon, brings a much needed dose of responsibility, of structure, and of karmic lessons. And Saturn's energy helps to ground the ethereal, dreamlike quality of Neptune and Pisces. And it forces us to face reality, particularly in areas where we have been avoiding it. It asks us to be accountable for our emotional and spiritual growth and to take responsibility for our past actions, to create healthy boundaries that support our personal development. And this conjunction of Saturn and the moon emphasizes the need for emotional maturity. It's a time to recognize and release past patterns that have been holding us back, especially those tied to karmic lessons. And with Saturn's involvement, we are being asked to work through our emotional baggage in a responsible and in a disciplined way, ensuring that we don't repeat the same mistakes. Now, what does that mean for your twin flame connection? If we zoom into the polarities, the masculine and feminine, we can feel those polarities within ourselves. They are energies that exist in every human being. Some people have more masculine energy, some people have more feminine energy, and of course, this is often determined by the body that we are born into. It doesn't have to be, of course, it can be the other way around. We are conditioned by our society and by the shape of our body to become one of the polarities, masculine or feminine. That is what we are here to experience, this duality. But ultimately, we want to become balanced in these two energies. And the way to do that is from within. Now, the twin flame connection is an outer expression of what is happening with your masculine and feminine energy within you. So the way to balance your connection is to balance your own inner masculine and feminine energies. And ultimately, we would want to do that for ourselves, to become this beautiful, balanced soul that has transcended the separation pain and that is here to express individuality, to be a unique expression of the divine. But as a collective, we're not there yet. And that's why there's a huge imbalance of the masculine and feminine energies within us as humans and within our society and within our relationships. And this eclipse is helping us to come closer to the balance. If we're looking at how this is playing out by the masculine and the feminine energy, we can see that since the beginning of this year, the masculine has gone through a lot of transformational processes. And the last couple of months, the masculine has asked for a lot of space. Now, this has triggered a lot for the feminine energy. It has triggered rejection and abandonment issues in order for the feminine to heal them, so she can start to embody the divine feminine energy, to release the fear-based ego energy and to step into the heart-based divine feminine energy. We were being shown the difference between those two, the difference being that the wounded feminine energy is trying to fill her void by abandoning herself so she will receive love from her masculine. And by abandoning herself, I mean not staying true to herself, giving up her own desires to meet the masculines, just completely and unconsciously changing herself to please her man, putting him first. And when she's not getting what she needs, she can become suffocating and manipulative. And even though that a lot of us are very well educated women, and we know what we can and cannot do when it concerns to our man. We don't always express this energy in 3D, but it is there, the energy of neediness. And it can feel unfair sometimes that your masculine can pick this up. It truly can be unfair, and that he is responding to your energy rather than your actions, because you're trying so hard not to act upon this energy. It is still there, and it is still an invitation to transform this energy and to step out of it. And as we were learning this, as we were learning to stand in our own true power, to not abandon ourselves, to just be who we are, to put ourselves first, to transform the neediness energy, the obsessive energy, and to use this for ourselves. If you've been there, if you've been in this obsessive energy, I'm really not judging you, because I've been there myself a lot. But if you've been there and if you have stepped out of it, then you know what I am talking about, and you know that it is a huge energy leak, and that you don't want to go back there, because this is really precious energy that you can use for your own life and for your own good. But anyway, as we were shown this, what was happening the last couple of months was the masculine asking for a lot of space for their own transformation. And you could have seen this in your connection by a physical separation, but you could have also experienced it in a relationship where the masculine has needed a lot of space, not able to communicate it very well, why or what was happening, even projecting a lot of his issues on you, creating emotional separation, energetic separation. There might have been a lot of conflict, but now feminine energy is ready to see beyond her own pain, to see what is happening with the masculine energy, and to allow the masculine energy the space to transform his wounds and to stay in her power, stay in her open heart, and to just hold space. And this can be from a distance or from up close, but whatever is happening within yourself first. Where we are getting is to a place where the divine feminine is holding space and is just standing there and is inviting her divine masculine to meet her. That is what is happening right now. And that means that she is just focused on herself, focused on the expression of her soul in this lifetime, while just being very empathetical, loving, kind, with an open heart, and just allowing and surrendering and having faith that her divine masculine will reconnect. This is hard for most feminines to do, but what really helps is to realize that divine masculine and divine feminine belong together. The most existential level of existence is this dance between the masculine and feminine energy. By that I mean, in this dance between masculine and feminine, we can distinguish the masculine and feminine, but ultimately they cannot exist without each other. Separately, they are empty. They're nothing, and they won't function without each other. It is only in union that the soul can be a conscious creator. Does that mean that this specific human being that you have seen as the representation of your masculine has to come back and you should hold on to him for dear life? No, that doesn't mean that at all. It means that you can have faith in this dance between masculine and feminine, because that is what we are here to experience. And yes, by that I mean where every soul is here to experience that. It is the way that this world is created, this duality. This means that now you can relax. You can relax in your heart-based feminine energy now that you know how to recognize your divine masculine, because that's what it is. That's what we see on the twin flame journey. We learn what the divine masculine energy is, and now that we can recognize it, we can consciously invite this energy in, and we can let the masculine and feminine energy within ourselves do the dance. So how do we invite this energy in, this beautiful divine masculine energy? From the heart, we connect with our own individuality. We connect with that part of us that makes us us, that wants to be seen. We can ask that part of us what is standing in its way, what is keeping it captivated. And you can maybe feel the tension between wanting to express yourself, that part of you wanting to express itself, and feeling stuck at the same time. That is what is going on in the masculine collective right now. There's this huge tension, and he's not allowed to feel the pain. He has to be strong all the time. He has to do things. He has to take responsibility. There is a huge tension between what masculine energy really is and what is expected of masculine energy in our society, or what is the image of a man in society. Heart-based masculine energy is loving and shows respect for vulnerability and honors feminine energy. It is discerning and focused and clear, and it is differentiating, individualizing, and offers a lot of clarity and insight. The masculine focus is not separating, but it is inclusive. He takes everything into account, and there's something penetrating and honest and sobering in his presence. You know what I'm talking about, this beautiful masculine presence. But a lot of men or masculine energy is trapped in this limited image of what masculine energy is. A lot of people repress their emotions because they are considered as weak. They make you vulnerable, and it makes you feel out of control. And we're not allowed to be out of control in our society often. We have to perform, we have to be strong, we have to do our responsibilities, we have to be successful. So in order for us to be able to meet society's expectations, or your partner's expectations, or your family's expectations, a lot of people start to repress parts of themselves. And if you start to do that, then your mind becomes rigid and you want to control everything, and you stop your personal development. You're actually closing off your heart to meet expectations. And so there is this way of self-sacrificing. And so there is this huge tension. Parts of us that want to be seen, and other parts of us that are repressing that. And a lot of people are self-medicating, or, drinking alcohol, doing drugs, or finding distraction in relationship, in addictions, to not feel this pain. But the only way to get out of this the only way to stop this self-denial is to really feel this and understand this. For the masculine energy to liberate himself from this imprisonment, it is necessary to allow feminine energy to connect with feminine energy. There's nothing to be done in a 3D. The only thing that can be done is to reconnect with the soul, with feelings, with passion, with your essence. But for that, we need to release control, and that is terrifying. The heart-based divine feminine energy challenges the male ego, and the masculine is longing for her love, because love is truth. But if the male ego has to open himself up for the truth and has to acknowledge the fear that is actually has been driving him for a long time, that can trigger a fight or flight reaction. The feeling of love breaking us open can be so overwhelming and threatening that the male ego will protect itself no matter what, by running or fighting or by taking control. And the way that he does that is to only welcome what he can manage and to push away the non-confrontational aspects of the feminine energy. I hope that for a lot of you this sheds a light on what happens when you first separate. It is love that is breaking open the heart of the masculine, and the male ego that is putting up a fight. Either he shuts down completely, or he's trying to manage, trying to take control. And that is why breadcrumbing is happening a lot in twin flame connections. He is able to allow certain parts of the feminine energy in his life, but when it becomes too threatening, he pushes her away. And what the wounded feminine does is then she allows only those aspects of her to be seen, and she represses the others, showing only what she thinks that he likes. And that makes her, in the end, an empty shell. And then he loses his interest in her until she finds herself again, and he feels attracted to her again. He feels himself becoming alive because of her, and then it starts all over again. And this can only end when divine feminine energy stands strong, puts herself first, doesn't allow herself to please him anymore, and invites him in his divine energy. You may have seen this happening in your connection, but you may have also experienced this within yourself, the way that you act when it comes to your roles in society. How do you individuate yourself? How do you express yourself as an individual? Maybe you have experienced periods of your life where you adjusted to your circumstances, to your surroundings, where you suppressed parts of yourself that really, really long to be expressed. Because of the fear of rejection, you keep yourself small, and then you realize that you have lost all passion for life. So as pioneers and as light workers, we can really help in inviting this divine masculine energy by realizing that we carry this masculine energy within ourselves too, and that we are liberating ourselves as well. A part of us has been liberated, and a part of us is still captivated. And we can ask that aspect of ourselves that still feels imprisoned, what does it need? What does the collective masculine energy need the most? And we can send it to that aspect. We can send this energetically without words even. It is through the compassion in your heart. This is what we're ending the imprisonment of the masculine energy. It is time to collectively step into our power. It is time to have the courage to be your unique self, the courage to feel yourself on a very deep level, the courage to go within, and the courage to be different. This is the inner shift that we're going through. And the more that we are open to serve these energetic waves, the more that we help the collective. So you can imagine that this lunar eclipse is just the beginning of a deeper journey. These lessons will need to be integrated over time. First in the spiritual dimensions and then in the 3D as well. So you can imagine that the energy of this eclipse will ripple through the months to come, and it offers a lot of opportunities for profound transformation. As we conclude, it is clear that the Pisces full moon lunar eclipse is activating major shifts. Neptune's influence is key here. As Neptune conjuncts the full moon in Pisces, it dissolves illusions and brings us closer to our deepest truths. And for the divine masculine, this means facing the inner prison of control he's built around himself. Neptune's energy is guiding him to let go of those societal expectations and ego-based fears, and allows him to reconnect with his true essence. And at the same time, the divine feminine is being asked to stay open-hearted and hold space while the masculine goes through his transformation. And Neptune's dissolving quality is helping both counterparts to see beyond the illusions of separation and reconnect with the truth of their soul connection. And then we have Saturn conjunct the moon, which brings up karmic accountability. And Saturn is urging both the masculine and the feminine to take responsibility for their growth. The masculine is being challenged to release control and step into vulnerability, while the feminine is being called to remain grounded in her strength without falling into old patterns of neediness or fear. And Saturn's influence here helps the feminine stand firm in her divine feminine energy, while encouraging the masculine to embrace his emotional maturity and break free from the societal image of masculinity that no longer serves him. And lastly, the tension between the sun in Virgo and the moon in Pisces reminds us that this journey is about balancing the practical and the spiritual. The divine feminine is learning to stay grounded in her reality, focusing on her path, while also surrendering to the flow of the connection. And this tension reflects the dance of duality, where the masculine and the feminine energies learn to honor their individuality while also moving towards unity. So as you move through the energy of this lunar eclipse, remember that the masculine is liberating himself from control and the feminine is holding space with compassion and strength. And these shifts won't happen overnight, but this eclipse is a powerful marker of the changes ahead. The eclipse energy will continue to unfold over the coming months, and it will guide you towards a lot of growth and a deeper alignment. And if you need support as you navigate these energies, I offer private coaching sessions, courses, and personalized healing practices designed to help you stay grounded and empowered on your journey. And you can find all the details on my website, twinsoulalchemy.com. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope these insights help you move through this transformational time with clarity and grace. Keep trusting the process, the journey, and stay connected to your heart and know that you are exactly where you're meant to be. I'm sending you so much love. Bye.